You chant the 4 phrases of Hooponopono. You repeat the words, and yet nothing changes, and you feel resistance. Why? First, it is important to understand that Hooponopono is not about the words. It's an energetic process, and each phrase carries a resonance, an energetic vibration, like a mantra that bypasses your thinking mind, the intellect, and reaches into the deeper layers of your subconscious, where all the memories, all the patterns, and the conditioning and programs are stored. But here is the challenge that most people face. If you chant it mechanically without awareness or meaning, your mind will resist it. Your emotions will block the prayer, and the energy and the prana does not move. Why? Because most people do not experience themselves as pure energy or as pure consciousness. They experience themselves as thought and emotion. And so if your mind does not understand why you're chanting, it will resist the cleaning. And if your heart does not feel connected, it will fight the process. And this very resistance is what keeps the fear and the suffering and the stress in place. Each phrase in Hooponopono is like a key. But if you hold the door shut with doubt, with expectations, or mental debates, or over-analysis, the key cannot turn. So when you say, "I'm sorry," you're acknowledging the presence of the block. "Please forgive me" creates an energetic opening for release. "Thank you" is an energetic shift that shifts the resistance into the energy of acceptance. "I love you" reintegrates you into the frequency of healing and peace. Now, Hooponopono is not a mind game. It's an energetic process. So just like different sound frequencies tune a radio, these phrases tune your energy. But if you're chanting while doubting, expecting, or analyzing, you're jamming the signal. Imagine a river flowing effortlessly, naturally. The water moves without resistance. But over time, leaves, branches, debris can collect and slows the flow down. The river itself is not blocked. Its very nature is to move and to flow. But the accumulated leaves and branches, debris creates the stagnation. Your mind and your energy work the same way. Your natural state is flow, its clarity, its ease, and its peace. But over time, fears, judgments, and unresolved emotions and thoughts build up like a dam and disrupt the flow of life within you. So Hooponopono is not about fighting the river or forcing the water to move. It is simply about clearing away what no longer belongs so that life can flow naturally once again. Some people chant Hooponopono and feel stuck, not because Hooponopono doesn't work, but because something deeper needs to be acknowledged first. You cannot clean what you cannot see or refuse to see, and you cannot dissolve what you're still holding on to. So cleaning is not just purely a mechanical process. It's an experience. And if it's seen correctly, it becomes an extension of love and divinity. So through my own journey of cleaning and forgiveness, I've distilled 5 practical steps to help those who feel blocked in their practice. Remember, cleaning is about a shift in perception, and this transforms the very way you experience life. Cleaning is only about dissolving the subconscious resistance and reconnecting you with intelligence that already knows how to restore balance. So now let's go through this process, step by step, not as an idea, not as some abstract theory, but as a direct experience. Step number 1, understanding responsibility and recognizing what needs cleaning. The first step is the foundation for all the others. So skipping it or misunderstanding it leads to confusion. The process of cleaning starts the moment something surfaces. It could be a thought, an emotion, a situation that brings up discomfort and stressful reactions. Hooponopono is about taking responsibility for whatever shows up in your experience. But many people misunderstand responsibility to be blame, fault, and guilt. They assume If this is showing up, I must have caused it. Now, this kind of thinking only creates more distress. Or they say, I've attracted this, so it's my fault. By looking at it this way, which is a perception, this creates only more upset. They also believe if I take responsibility, that means I'm to blame. That is not responsibility, but self-inflicted suffering. So responsibility is not guilt. It is empowerment. The power is within you to make another choice to see things differently. You are not responsible for the error, but you are responsible for how you see it and therefore how you respond to it. Most people get stuck because they believe the situation itself is the issue. But the real problem is how you're perceiving it and how you're interpreting it. You cannot change your past, but you can clean the emotional residue it left behind. You cannot control others, but you can clean how you respond to them. You cannot force outcomes, but you can clean the resistance within you. So when you take responsibility, you're moving from blame to awareness, from fear to clarity. So this first step of taking responsibility and identifying what you're cleaning is crucial. Because if you don't understand what true responsibility means in your mind, your cleaning efforts may not be effective. True responsibility means I'm responsible for how I see it and therefore respond to it. And from this place of clarity, cleaning can truly begin. Step number 2, acknowledge and accept without resistance. Once you can recognize the trigger or the situation that's creating the upset, the next step is acceptance. This is where most people struggle because their instinct is to resist, is to suppress, is to run away from what they feel. I don't want to feel this way. Make it go away. But if you want to get rid of something, you're saying that it has power over you. Or they say, if I clean properly, this should disappear instantly, right? But cleaning doesn't work through resistance. They are counter to each other. It only happens through allowance. So instead of rejecting what comes up, welcome it and say, I see you. I acknowledge your presence. I acknowledge the upset. I don't need to fight you or push you away. When you say, I'm sorry, it's not an admission of guilt. You're admitting that you have unconsciously accepted a perception, a way of seeing and thinking that is now creating the distress. By acknowledging this, you're now in a position to release it. So acknowledging is not a sign of weakness, but of empowerment. And that is true responsibility. Step number 3, cleaning and releasing the emotional charge. Now that you have identified and accepted and fully welcome what's coming up, it's time to clean your perception of it. This is where people also get stuck. They believe their emotions are proof of who they are, rather than a signal that something is ready to be released. Your perception is not reality. It's a reflection. Perception is an effect, not a cause. What you see, how you interpret it, how you feel about it, these are all shaped by the data that's stored within you. Everything we perceive is either from past conditioning, the old programs, the limiting beliefs, and the emotional patterns, or they're from inspiration, from truth, from clarity, from wisdom, from divinity. The purpose of cleaning is so that we can remove the past conditioning so that inspiration can flow freely. Your emotions are not punishments, they're a signal. And this is where people resist the process. They misinterpret the emotions as something wrong with them. They believe, if I feel fear, so something bad is coming. If I feel anger, so I must be failing. If I feel sadness, I must not be doing the process right. So imagine this. A child comes up to you, running to you, crying, upset. Do you push them away and say, go away? Do you yell at them and say, stop crying? There's nothing to be sad about. Of course not. Instead, you kneel down, you open your arms, and you comfort them. And this is exactly how you approach your emotions. You're not your emotions. You are the loving awareness that holds them. So when fear arises, it's not here to trap you or to say that you have failed. It is here to leave. It is here to be released. This part of the cleaning process takes consistency and trust Because your inner child, your subconscious mind, has built a lot of defenses to keep you safe. These defenses hold on to fear, to pain, to limiting beliefs. But when you consistently clean, you show your mind, your inner child, it's safe to let go. So what are you actually cleaning? You're cleaning the emotional reaction that's tied to the situation. You're cleaning the subconscious beliefs that make it feel real. You're cleaning the attachment to analyzing, to fixing, or controlling. So how do you clean properly? I'm sorry, not as guilt, but as acknowledgement and recognition. I'm sorry for holding on to this energy, for not seeing it clearly before. Please forgive me, not for being wrong, but for believing this fear, this anger, this sadness was the truth. Thank you for bringing this to my awareness so I can finally release it. I love you. Not just words, but an embrace, a return to the peace within yourself. You don't need to fix your emotions. You just need to hold space for them to be purified. Your only job is to clean. You don't need to understand everything or the source of your upset. You don't need to control everything or resist what arises. You simply let go, clean, and trust as you do, life will align in ways beyond what your mind can imagine. Step number 4, letting go and trusting the process. Remember, cleaning is inner purification, and it is only the divine that purifies, the divinity and the intelligence within you. Your intellect cannot purify because its job is to split everything up into pieces. Since your mind is what needs to be cleaned, it's not up to you to decide how the healing will come. This means we must not place any limits or expectations on the process. Trust removes all the limits to what you think and receive. To be concerned is not to trust, because you're putting a stop on the cleaning process itself. So surrender and allow the divine within to do the work. It knows better. Step number 5, recognizing the shifts and the gains. This is an important step in the cleaning process. It is acknowledging that your attitude is changing, and it's impressing on your subconscious that the process is working. If you feel lighter, acknowledge that. If you start to see that you're not taking things personally, acknowledge that. Acknowledge those gains where you feel less fearful, and hence you start to gradually impress on your subconscious mind the value of this cleaning process. It is a return home to your true nature, to peace, to love, to clarity, to zero, where everything flows in divine timing and order. Cleaning is experiential, and it's unique to each individual. Some emotions can be easily released, while others will take time to be fully released from your mind and body. But the principles of cleaning and trust remain the same, and this is the most important part. So, the final takeaway. Cleaning is not about chanting problems away. It's about awareness, responsibility, honesty, and surrender. Triggers, emotions are not punishments. They are opportunities to release. You're not your thoughts. You're not your emotions. You're not the data. You're not the error. You're simply experiencing them. Each layer you clean makes you lighter, clearer, and more at peace. And this is where true freedom begins. Affirm with me and place in the comments. I'm not my past. I'm not my fear. I choose to release, clean, and trust life to unfold in harmony. If this video helped you in any way and shifted your understanding and experience of cleaning, please subscribe, like, comment, hit the notification bell. Till the next time, my friends, be well.